Hello everybody and welcome back to the United Stand. We got there in the end and thank God we did. Thank God for Rasmus Højlund, thank God for Ahmad, thank God for Bruno Fernandes. Honestly, that first half, let's put it quite bluntly, it was like watching paint dry. God, the gloves and the hair. It was like watching paint dry. The second half, loads of chances, should have done better in the final third, but finally some energy and the team looked invigorated. What I thought was, which showed where this team's at right now in terms of confidence. When that second goal went in, all of the team celebrating and Nana running up from the goal to come and celebrate. Obviously, he made a mistake for the first goal of Plzen, but it just shows how low the confidence of this team is. That, let's be honest, we should be turning up to the Dusan Arena against Plzen, and we should be beating these teams quite comfortably. And do not get me wrong, Plzen deserves some credit. They do. They put up a good fight. I thought defensively they were very good in the defensive shape, and they went man to man really well, which we struggled with, and we struggled to break down that low block. But ultimately, when you look at the quality on the pitch, if I'm Plzen, if I'm a Plzen player, I'm going into that dressing room at half time and I'm saying, can we check the passports that they're actually Manchester United? Can we check like the club bus, like that actually is Manchester United? I would be staggered at the quality of football that was on display and that was playing against. I'd be like, well, we just go again in the second half, because that first half, honestly, it was dreadful. I don't know if it was because it was -1 degrees. I don't know if it's because it was midweek and we played at the weekend. But honestly, the lack of energy. And I'm not going to sit here saying everything's, sunshines and rainbows because we won that game 2-1, because it's not. Because Manchester United should be doing miles better than that. That first half performance was probably the worst half of football I've seen from Manchester United all season, apart from maybe the Tottenham Hotspur game at home. And then I think about the Liverpool game as well, but that they were individual mistakes. The whole team in that first half looked poor, and the substitutes made the difference. I don't want to go in on just Marcus Rashford because it wasn't just him, but that was an absolutely dreadful performance. And for 300 plus grand a week, you expect 10 times more. It's been written all week that he's going to be leaving the club potentially for £40 million. He's up for sale. He's not started the last 2 games. You expect something. It was dreadful. Joshua Zirkzee was dreadful. I'm convinced we have a striker at Manchester United that is ready and can play for the future. That's Rasmus Højlund. Joshua Zirkzee, for me, if he keeps playing like that, no. I thought we brought him in to be a player that holds up the ball and he's good in transition. It was nowhere near the level that's needed to be. And I'm not trying to, this isn't me going for players and individualising it. I'm just saying throughout that whole squad, the level of performance is not good enough across the board, and there's too many average players in that squad. I thought in the second half, to bring some positivity into it, I thought Mason Mount off the bench was really good. He's an intelligent footballer, and he made intelligent runs to break down their low block. When you make them intelligent runs, it makes more space for Ahmad, it makes more space for Højlund, and you get that space. And we took advantage of that space, and Højlund obviously scored 2 good goals. Ahmad was very good at creating them. I actually thought Anthony off the bench made a difference. I'm going to be honest, I thought it was better than Dalot and Marcia at wing back. I don't know if it's because it's the team you were playing, but I thought he showed more urgency. I thought he showed more energy. I thought he showed more fight in terms of getting forward. Still, do I think he's good enough to play for Manchester United on a regular basis? No, because I think again you're seeing them silly shots a little bit too much. But in terms of actually going at players and showing a little bit of willing and showing like he was fighting for his spot, I thought he gave a bit, which I thought was important for Manchester United. We needed that energy inserted into the team. And Rasmus Højlund now, 10 goals in 12 games in Europe, Champions League and Europa League. That is a young player, a 21-year-old player that has a future at Manchester United. And Ruben Amorim, he has got something to work with Rasmus Højlund. Runs the channels really well. He's holding up the ball a lot better. Still needs to improve, but even his positional sense, he's making good runs through the channels now. He's getting into the box in the right positions. I know it's just a tap-in, but being in that position is super important for a striker. And the fact he was there, that is progression in terms of Rasmus Højlund. So I definitely think there's a future there for him. I think him and Bruno Fernandes' relationship is developing a lot more. Bruno Fernandes, I've seen mixed reviews online, but I thought he played well. I think as a captain of this team, he's a leader. I thought in the second half, when he had more people on the pitch with some energy and some tempo, it helped him get more space to move the ball around a little bit more freely. He was often starting off the transition from a little bit of a deeper role. I thought he did well in that. He's sometimes too many silly over the top balls to the likes of Rashford when he was on the pitch, and Amorim did actually tell him, I could see him on the sidelines telling him for that. But in the second half, when he got onto the ball, he was a lot more careful with it and chose the right passes. And I actually think that the goal to make it 2-1, Bruno Fernandes extremely humble in his post-match interview with us. It's that cold that my lips are starting to freeze and I can't speak. My impression of Mark Goldbridge. I can't speak. But no, I think that second goal, he was super humble, and the lights are going down. He was super humble, and he said it was all about Rasmus's finish. It wasn't about my pass, but that pass was absolutely fantastic. And what I will say, Manchester United seriously need to work on is energy levels, intensity. We need players with higher energy levels, better intensity. And I don't think there's an excuse for being tired, because Ruben Amorim made rotations. He did make rotations. And I think a massive thing that Manchester United need to work on is creativity, a creative outlet. Bruno Fernandes, and I say this to Ricky all the time, I get people get frustrated with him, but he's the only player in that team that shows that match-winning creativity, that can actually create something and can create goals for the team, create chances for the team. Ahmad is doing it a lot more, and Ahmad, don't think he had his best game in the first half whatsoever, but in the second half, when he was playing with players that were making them runs and giving him a bit more space, like Mason Mount and Anthony, he did seem to come into his own and take on players, and I thought he was actually fantastic for that first goal. So Ahmad is he's a quality player. He's always going to give you something. He's up there for creativity, but our best creative outlet is Bruno Fernandes. If he's not on the pitch, it's very hard for Manchester United to create chances and score goals. So when people do complain about him, I get it, he is a frustrating player, and not every play is perfect, and there is things he needs to work on, but he leads his team all over the pitch. And if you've got players on his wavelength, and if you've got intelligent footballers around him, he's going to create for you, and we need to up our creativity, because there's not enough goal scoring opportunities for Manchester United. In the second half, though, there were more goal scoring opportunities, and we need to finish better. The chemistry in the final third isn't there. Garnacho passed it to Anthony, and Anthony he should have scored. It was on his left foot and everything. Didn't. In hindsight, the more intelligent pass was probably to go to Ahmad, because Ahmad is a deadlier finisher than Anthony. The chemistry in the forward players needs to up its levels, and I'm going to be honest, I look at the forward line for Manchester United, and I've said this over and over and over again. I struggle to see players that can compete and play at the top level. I struggle to see it. Ahmad, yes. Højlund, yes. Past that, I think Garnacho is someone who can come off the bench. I don't know what's going on with Marcus Rashford. I generally don't. It's been like this for 2 years now, but today was really poor. The only thing I can say is he showed a bit of frustration in terms of getting that yellow card, and then very luckily didn't get sent off. So he must be frustrated with himself. He's a confidence player, we know that, but Ruben Amorim, when Marcus Rashford came off the pitch, I don't think he even went over to shake his hand, I'm not sure. So I think Rashford's probably frustrated in himself, but that forward line, it needs more star quality. The chemistry needs to improve, and Ruben Amorim probably is at Manchester United right now thinking, wow, like I knew this squad needed work, but it needs a lot of work. And looking forward to the future, things are looking a lot better for Manchester United now in terms of moving up in the Europa League table, looking quite settled. I think I've seen something before. Let me just get it up. I actually want to get it up because I want to make sure I got it right. Yeah, Ruben Amorim is the third Manchester United manager to win his first 2 games in European competitions since Sir Matt Busby and Sir Alex Ferguson. So that's a great record for him to have. And away from home is always difficult, especially with this Manchester United side. And then I also wanted to bring in, what did I want to bring in? I made a note of it here. Yes, this was it. Manchester United have now gone up to 5th in the Europa League table, just behind Galatasaray and Frankfurt. They're in 3rd. So, we're on the same level of points as Galatasaray, 12 points, 4 goal difference. So, it's looking more promising for Manchester United in Europe. And I said it on my preview videos, and I'm saying it again. That is our best gateway into Champions League football. We asked Bruno Fernandes about that. Go and watch the interview on the United Stand. But that's our best gateway into European football. I think this competition, Ruben Amorim, he's worked under Jose Mourinho. He knows his way of thinking. He needs to take on that Jose Mourinho mindset. This is your best chance of Champions League football. Without Champions League football, you are not going to have enough money to spend in the summer window to fix this team. Champions League football is absolutely vital, and of course it's a trophy as well. It's a trophy that eases the pressure. Not that I think there is any, because this is the manager that I feel like INEOS will stick by, although with Dan Ashworth, who knows. And I feel like the United fans really do believe in this manager and believe in this system. So he has got time, of course he does, but a trophy always does ease that pressure. And we need Champions League football, because I've been speaking to quite a few journalists over here in Czech Republic, off record, that are saying Manchester United do not have any money. There's a reason for mass redundancies. There's a reason for massive cutbacks. And whether you agree with it or not, I've said before and I'll say it again, I think the ticket price rises. I do not agree with them, and I do not agree with Sir Jim Ratcliffe's explanation of them. But Manchester United, the money is not there. We need Champions League football. This is our best chance of getting it. When you look at all the other teams in the competition, United, if they get their act together, we should be winning this competition. I predicted us to win it at the start of the season, and I'm still going with that. Even though in that first half, genuinely, watching paint dry would have been more entertaining. But thankfully, Manchester United got it over the line. We did step up, but I'm not taking it easy on that team, and I'm not taking it easy on the players. We made it harder than we needed it to be, and we need to be better. We need to be better in front of goal. We need to cut out individual mistakes. The naivety and the IQ of this team, that needs work. And the forward line in terms of ability and decision making and chemistry needs work. We need some firepower in that team, and there's a lot to do. And Ruben Amorim will know that as well. Ruben Amorim will know that. In terms of my man of the match, I think it's got to be Rasmus Højlund. Could have had a hat-trick. Bruno Fernandes, though, is up there for his involvement in that second goal. I thought it was a fantastic pass, and it's a match-winning pass as well. And this is what he does. He wins your games. And as much as people sometimes want him to be substituted, I think that's why he shouldn't be substituted. Anything else I wanted to bring in that I made some notes on? Yeah, the last thing that I wanted to say is, I do think INEOS, they need to get as ruthless with these players as they did with Dan Ashworth. They need to get as ruthless with the squad as they did with Dan Ashworth. Some people are going to need to be sold. Some players are going to need to be sold to fund the future for Ruben Amorim, and that's something that Sir Jim Ratcliffe needs to look at and INEOS need to look at. There is some talent there. I think Ahmad, Højlund and Bruno were all in contention for the man of the match. They're all players I'd build around. I thought De Ligt did well again. But all in all, the team as a whole needs to be doing better. I also think you cannot underestimate the energy that Ugarte and Mount bring to this team. Just quickly, I'm getting told to wrap up, but I need to put this in there because I've not spoken about the derby yet. Mount should start in the derby. Ugarte has to start in the derby. This is my... Actually, clip this, Matt, whoever's watching at home. This is my starting 11 for the derby. Onana in goal, but I know he's a confidence goalkeeper, but please get back into the form you were in. He was on for being keeper of the season. Now he's making a few mistakes, but Onana in goal. My back three would be Martinez hanging on by a thread in that back three, I'm telling you that. De Ligt and Mazraoui. My wing backs would be Ahmad on the right and Dalot on the left. My two holding midfielders would be Ugarte and Mainu. My two tens would be Bruno and Mount, and my striker would be Rasmus Højlund. That is what I feel like Manchester United's best team is at this current moment in time. But Martinez, I've got my eye on him. I tell you that, because there is centre-backs that are looking to get into that spot. Anyway, guys, I've got to wrap up. Get in all your thoughts down below. It is literally freezing. I never thought I'd say I want to get back to Manchester weather, but get me on that flight. Get me on that flight back to Manchester, back to the studio. Please make sure you go and check out the Bruno Fernandes interview on the United Stand. If you know me, guys, it was, honestly, my life is made. I've interviewed Bruno Fernandes. I absolutely love the guy. But thank you for watching. Hit a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And I am signing off from Plzen in the Czech Republic.